Consciously setting your intentions. Yes, that's what we're going to talk about today. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Healing into Femininity. My name is Joanna Fatonji, if you're new here. And today I want to dive into the topic of consciously setting your intention because not every fleeting desire you have is truly your desire. And what I mean by that, we're going to dive into that. As I always like to say, is all of my lives, all of my videos are masterclasses. You can put out a pen and a paper, listen to it while you're walking, listen to it while you're cooking, listen to it while you have the space to actually think about the things that I share with you. And if you want to go deeper, I promise that there is more for you at the end. So, I invite you to change your thinking, to change your life, because your mind is the soil of your creation. And what you are experiencing, right, that is the result of what you have been thinking. So, some of the most important work that you will do is to take the time to describe the life that you want to live. When you look upon the infinite possibility of your life, you get to choose, right? In the absence of you choosing, consciously choosing what it really is that you want to create, you will choose unconsciously. You will choose, as we say, by default. You will just create what already is implanted in your mind, and what is implanted in you and your nature are just going to it's just going to play out, and it's going to create a chaotic life just by following someone else's rules, someone else's paradigm that again has already been implanted in you. And to be very precise, these are things, especially if you're a woman or a woman of color, these are things that you haven't even decided on that you wanted to think or believe, which is, for example, that you are lesser than a man and that you definitely need a man in order to fulfill your greatest desire, which is not true. Or that you have to change the way you look. I'm not speaking about leveling up. I mean, I'm all for looking good, feeling sexy, taking care of your body, and all of that. But I'm speaking about trying to appease to a certain beauty standard that you might never hit, right? So, all of those things that we sometimes believe that is just the way it is, right? As I said, being a woman to a man or having to have children by a certain age, all of those things are societal norms. It's a program that somebody else told us that this is what we are supposed to do. But the question here today is to dive deeper and to really ask yourself, is that truly what it is that you want? Or what is it that you want, right? We want to focus on launching the power of your intention. And the focus is to understand that you can master the creation of your life by planting new seeds of intention, right? We are creating a new foundation. As I always like to say, your mind is a soil. Your mind is a soil. Your mind is a fertile ground. And before we can choose to create new experiences that are truly in resonance with who we are, what we love, how we feel safe, how we feel loved, what we want to experience, the joy, the life that we truly love, right? We have to first look at the soil and really see what the seeds that have unconsciously been planted, what these seeds have already created in our lives. And I always like to say, you don't have to dig deep for the seeds. You just have to look around in your life and ask yourself if this life that you've created is truly what fulfills you. The body that you're in, the career that you're in, the relationship or the relationships that you're in with friends, with family, maybe with a partner, right? Really look at those things and see if this is truly what you desire and what fulfills you, where you live, how you live, all of those things want to be evaluated, or have you just opted into those experiences because you thought you had to? And where did that thought come from? It was already unconsciously planted in you. Are you still following? Yes, right? So today we're laying a new foundation by understanding the fundamental truth related to the power of intention. And the first thing we want to understand is your nature, right? As I said, your nature, all of your nature, your body, your mind, your spirit is creative, right? Just like the soil, as I just said, your nature is creative. True divinity is creative. If you're new here, welcome. If you've seen a few of my videos before, I always like to say that God is in your womb as a woman. God is your life force energy. God is your creative energy. There is no God outside of you, no person, no man, no race, no other gender, right? No person on a pedestal, no celebrity, nobody is higher than you, right? People have earned their way to certain positions, absolutely, but you are your own source of power. And if you want to look for God, if you want to look for the divine, look inside of you. Look at your life force. Look how good you feel, how well you treat yourself, your body, right? This is where divinity lives, right? Your body is a temple, yes, right? And you are the carrier of the divine creative nature. And with this nature, you can choose what it is that you want to create. And what you put your attention on is what you create. That's why it's so important to take hold of where we put our intention, right? If you're here, welcome. And I want to tell you that you always need to check where you put your attention. I'm going to tell you, right? I want you to think about where you put your attention. Social media is one of the strongest forces of pulling you into something and you're just getting lost. So it's very, very important for your life, right? For your life, for your health, for your well-being, for everything you're going to create in your life, that you're very, very selective about where you put your attention, because where attention goes, energy flows, meaning there's going to be a creation of that, right? If we focus on something, it's going to be more of it coming. You've probably heard that before. So we don't get to choose everything that happens to us, but we get to choose what we make of it, right? We get to choose how we respond to it, right? That's why so many people think sometimes in the whole discussion about manifestation that every person you attract or every person that just basically crosses your path is a manifestation. No, we are here on a very crowded planet, so people will cross your path, but you, the way you decide if that person is of quality, if that person is in alignment with your values, with your standards, with the life you want to create, is up to you. I always like to say, over here, we do judge, right? We do judge. And I want you to practice your discernment, right? So, not every person that crosses your path is a manifestation. right? Everybody will come. And the more you do this work, if you stay here and if you follow what I'm putting down, you are going to become more and more attractive. And especially as a woman, you already are attractive, right? And if you don't understand that you are valuable, your energy, your time, your mind, your skills, your knowledge, your intellectual property, right? Your solution oriented ways, all of that is valuable, and people will come and try to steal from you. Not only if you think if you're going to reach whatever next level you want to reach. No, already people see you as a source of power. People see you as a prey. That's why what I'm putting down here, what I'm teaching, is to protect yourself, to preserve yourself by all means necessary, because people are, in general, energy vampires. Okay, so you need to learn to judge, to discern if people are matching your energy. Okay, number two, your attention. Let us dive a little deeper into your attention. You get to describe to the universe how you want your life to be by your clarity, right? The universe only gives something energy if you do. Right? People always think the universe is some energy outside of yourself. No, again, the universe is literally your life force energy, right? You decide where you put your attention, where you put your energy. So energy goes where energy flows. Energy goes where attention flows, right? Wherever you focus, whatever you focus on, you create. So focus on something that you want to create, right? The universe reads your intention by where you place your attention, right? Again, your intention is where you put your attention. You can intend something, you can plant a seed, but if you don't continue focusing on that intention, on that seed, but you get distracted by everyday life, by the news, by media, by social media, by other people's drama, when you are getting distracted, your attention is scattered in all different directions. And then this is what you're going to create: nothing really, or chaos at best, right? So your attention, what you focus on, creates a magnetic field of attraction, right? And that magnetic field, again, I want to really create that so you understand that attraction field is by you focusing on yourself, on your energy, what gives you life. Listen to yourself. Right? Listen to yourself. The more you listen to yourself, the stronger your intuition becomes. And the more you trust your intuition and the more you do what you feel like is right for you, the more you trust yourself, right? So your attention creates an attraction field. So focus on you, focus on the good, focus on working on yourself and building up whatever it is that you need: your self-worth, right? Your communication skills, your negotiation skills, your sales skills, your marketing, putting yourself out there, right? Creating your personal brand, leveraging who you are. And leveraging who you are is by putting yourself in front of most people, like of as many people as you can, so you can attract the clients that want whatever it is that you have to offer, the people that are in alignment, friends, not only clients, but friends, right? Allies, people who are in alignment, whatever it is that you are in alignment with. Good. Number three, I think that's a big one, and I want to make it very concrete, is your sacred friends, right? Some things and people come into your life and go against what you consciously want. These people and these circumstances serve as growth opportunity, right? That's what I said. Like, not every person that you attract into your life is supposed to stay. Not every person that you attract is your friend, is your colleague, is your husband, right? Not every person, not every man that you attract is supposed to be in your life. No. And I want to share a story, and it is about Oops, there's something going on over there. I want to share a story. About really learning from the people that we attract, right? If we continue to think that the people that we attract are meant to be in our lives, no. I want you to protect yourself fiercely, but definitely also learn from the negative experiences that you've made so far, right? Especially, again, I'm going to say with men or with other women, the people that you have attracted and or let in. I'm going to use a different word here. The people that you have let into your life and that has caused the greatest damage, those people are your lessons. Those people are the biggest lessons for you. Yeah, learn from them. Don't just throw away the experience as hurt or you being the victim, or right, let's create something that a lot of people speak about, a scenario of the narcissist and then you, right? Many people freeze in this situation and say, I'm an empath and I attract narcissists. No, I want you to really look at this situation and feel like what is really going on? Like, why did you let that person in the first place? And I want to tell you that I know that many times we let somebody who actually already smelled fishy, we let that person in because there was a lack inside of us. There was a lack of self-esteem, a lack of self-worth, a lack of self-love, right? A lack of protection and boundary, a lack of judgment and discernment, right? And then we let that person in. And what kind of lack was that? And again, that's what I said in the beginning, especially for women, no matter where you are on your journey, whether you are in the beginning stages of your empowerment journey or your level up journey or your career, right? We can use that for all aspects of life. No matter where you are on your journey, many women get sabotaged by a man. I know that, like in my personal life with my clients, I see very successful women. Successful meaning educated, having their own businesses or a high end corporate career, or they have some kind of social status because they are social media famous or they have been on TV or things like that. I've worked with all kinds of people, and I still see it today that what derails them is mostly a man and a toxic, so called toxic relationship dynamic that women fall into again and again because of that lack of self love, right? It's up to you to decipher what is really going on in your life, but really do that for yourself. Okay. So, but again, we want to learn from the person who has come into our life instead of seeing ourselves as the victim, because over here we do not do victim talk. Like, this is the transformation out of the victim mode into creating mode, right? We are here to dominate, okay? Dominate your own lower nature, dominate your own reality, and really be a creator, okay? Not a victim. So learn from those people. What did they do to actually get you into that position? What was it in you that allowed it? What was it in you that allowed it? Right? So it's very important for you to really look at yourself, look at the wound, look at the hurt, look at the conditioning, yeah, of feeling low. Good. So this is really where we can learn and empower ourselves from that situation, right? This shows us whatever toxic situation we've been in, this shows us where we actually need to heal, right? To heal into the baddest version of ourselves. Okay. And the fourth thing is you have an observer self. I always like to say you position yourself on top. You position yourself on top of the hierarchy. You start with the end in mind. Real transformation, real manifestation, creating the life of your dream, meaning your body, your experiences, your money, your happiness, everything you truly desire comes from you knowing that you're already her. That means you position yourself at the top And if we do that according to that hierarchy, right? The Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the pyramid, like that is such an ancient, powerful symbol for exactly what we're speaking about. At the top of the pyramid, just like on the dollar symbol, there is the all seeing eye, right? Because it is occult knowledge or sacred knowledge or spiritual knowledge, whatever you want to call it, is that you know that you have a higher self. And if you can, with your mind, go into the bird's eye view. You can go into the bird's eye perspective of things and look on your life, but also even beyond that, not only look at your life, but look at life. Look at your neighborhood, look at your city, look at your country, look at society, look at people, look at relationships, right? Look how people live. You can see all of that just by activating your observer self, training your observer self, training the part of you that is not caught up in the human drama, right? Your higher self. This is the place from which we manifest. Right? So notice what you're noticing. Notice what you're noticing about yourself, the way you look, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, the way you interact with other people, the way you present yourself. Again, what kind of relationships? Notice what's going on from a neutral observer point, right? Without being involved, without having some personal attachment to it, but stay awake, observe things, see it from a higher vantage point, right? Because if you don't do that, you are going to be pulled into different directions, right? Whether it is a conversation, we can also call it a pendulum, right? You're being drawn, you're being pulled into a conversation, the relationship content or the war content or whatever is going on, the conspiracy theory content. All of those things, you can have a look on them. We don't want to be fully detached from what's going on, but don't let yourself be pulled into it, right? And you can only do that by staying awake, right? Observing yourself. Notice what you're noticing about you, where your life is going, where your attention is going, how you're feeling, all of that. And you can notice all of that by your own frequency. This is number 5. You need to have a coherent frequency. And coherence is also by heart and mind coherence. That's one of the quantum science, like the heart math, one of the sciences that where, let me say, where science has found out something that has always been known to more of the ancient traditions of spirituality, aka Jesus or whatever, right? Like all of those people have known about those coherence things, but this is timeless, right? You need to know that your heart and your mind need to be coherent, meaning what you want to create with your vision needs to be in alignment with what you love, right? Your intention has to be in coherence with the result that you want to create. Okay. So it's not about wanting one thing and then doing something else, just to use very everyday language, right? So you want to create something and you want your feet to align, right? What you want is what you do. That's coherence. Saying what you're doing, right? Walking the talk. Okay. So you can't have a thriving business, right? You can't have a thriving business. You can't have an amazing career if you constantly think about some that you would rather do something else, or that you don't want to solve the problems, right? You can't focus on the negative part too much without creating the negativity, right? So you have to focus. And especially in this world, and I believe it has always been this way, but I feel because maybe that's because that's the time that I live in, that we live in, there's so much shit going on this planet. So it's so you have to be disciplined, right? And focused to stay aligned with what you truly desire, right? It is discipline, it is self mastery to stay aligned and to stay focused on what it is that you truly want. So you can create a field where you attract what it is that you want. As I said, your intention creates a magnetic field around you. So you have to be that person, right? You have to already be that person that has what it is that you want to create. Again, starting with the end in mind. Starting with the end in mind. Okay, starting with the end in mind, embodying that person, being that person. Desire is fulfillment. Desire is fulfillment. You want it, be it, right? And then do it. Start with the end in mind and then break it back down. Who do you want to be? How does she look? How does she feel? How does she talk? How does she walk? How does she smell? What does she eat? What does she do? Right? How does she speak? How is she in relationships with others? Who are the people that she is in relationship with? Right? Start with the end in mind. Okay. And the sixth thing is, what is your vision? You have to create a crystal clear vision. What would you love to create? And then focus yourself on that every day. Every day. Focus yourself on it every single day. Again, because this world is full of distractions depending on what are your responsibilities in life already. You probably have a child, or you have a career, or you have other family members that want something from you, or relationships, or just the, as I said, the pendulums, right? The all of the trends and the media and all the things that are going on in the world, all of that is constantly trying to grab your attention and pull you. So in order for you to protect yourself of that, focus on your own dream each and every day, and do the things that are in alignment with that dream. Okay, so that's it for today. I would love to know, what is your dream? If you want, comment down below. Let me know what it is that you are building. What is your intention? And are you in alignment with that? Good. If you really want to take this deeper, because one of the things that I know that you can't do by yourself is to create an abundant, rich life. You would want to be surrounded by like minded individuals. If you want to be part of a community that is of like mind and people that are wanting to do the same thing, create a rich, abundant life, go into the school community and become part of our membership. You find resources there that help you already. You find a full meditation, 4 meditations actually on intention. You find a workbook style where you can write down what it is that you really intend, create that vision, and other resources that help you start and kickstart your journey of actually creating the life that you want and win in life, whether it is you are in corporate or in business, but something that will get you to the next level. That is the community and the resources you find in the school community in the description box down below. And if you think that you're really ready for a deep dive and you want to work with me one on one, or apply for the next cohort of the Life Mastery program that starts in a few months, like, we're taking time, but I will give you more information on that, because there's going to be an amazing trip around that. We are flying somewhere beautiful, kickstarting that whole Life Mastery 6 months group intensive project for leaders in corporate and business. If you want to apply for that already, you find it in the description box below. And I'm looking forward for you to take action, to see you thrive, to see you win, because the woman that I'm speaking to, she is living an abundant life. She's a leader. She's a bad bitch. She does what she came here to do, and to live a full life. So see you where I see you, in the membership, in the one-on-one, in the next group cohort, or in the next video. Until then, take charge. Bye-bye.